we can connect so many ways, but still it's difficult to connect. And I wonder why it is. Why is it difficult to connect when we are all connecting? We have screens, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Google, we have so many things to connect, but then it's just like there's a disconnect. And I think I figured it out. I figured out why it's hard to connect. Because you know when you have lint in your phone charger? Like you have like little pieces of lint because you put it in your pocket, and then when you put the charge in there, it just doesn't charge. Like sometimes like there might be stuff blocking. And I believe, this is my opinion, that there are many people who have been hurt so many times, and they put up a facade, or they put up a barrier to protect themselves. And I think it's really sad. And I have done and kind of do the same thing. Like, you really have to be careful with people because you don't know what their intentions are. But I still want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Like, I'm striving when I meet new people, and when I meet people, I want to extend grace to them, and I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and not judge them based on my past experiences, because it's not fair for me. Someone else did a long time ago. So I believe that is why we are very close but yet so far away. So as an introvert, Success for Introverts, I want to help introverts conquer small talk, because I have heard that that is an issue, and I have felt that small talk is a necessary step in getting to know people, because it's hard when you look at must be an event going on. When you look at a iceberg and you look at it from far away, and then there's a lot of people who think of like the iceberg, because I've been to Alaska. I've actually walked on a glacier before. It's so much fun. When you look at a glacier, an iceberg, you see this big chunk of ice from far away. And the closer you get, the bigger the giant glacier is. But did you know that there's running water in a glacier? You can get supplies. You can get water from a glacier, fresh water. And it's so crisp and it's so clean. But first, you have to source the glacier. And you have to get close to that glacier. And then if you bottle up the water from that glacier, you get the water, and then you can put it in the freezer and make ice. So my whole point is that small talk is the ice to a glacier. And if you think of it that way, you will be able to make so many connections. Because if you try to conquer the glacier, it will be too overwhelming. It will be way too overwhelming. And I don't know about you, but I do like chewing on ice. And Like, I just like the taste. And sometimes you just need an icebreaker. Maybe that's why that saying comes from. You need to break the ice. Because there are so many people who wear a mask and they have so many things. Like, there's so many people who feel lonely. And if you start with just an icebreaker topic or icebreaker statement, then you will be able to crack in there and you will be able to develop lasting relationships. Because all of my relationships have started with small talk. And it can be daunting. So if you want to try 3 things. So 1, picture your goal of the result you want when you are in a social gathering. So before you leave the house, or when you're starting a Zoom call, or anything you do when you are doing a social call, when you have other people, think in your head, what is my objective in this meeting / social call? So if you put that at the top of your list, that's number 1. And then number 2, gauge your mental battery. How are you feeling in that particular moment? Are you ready for social interaction? Because if you have subconsciously you're not ready, the energy that you emit will let other people know that you're not ready. So first, you want to find your objective. So if your objective is to meet people, hi, C5 Collection, how are you? I am talking about small talk and why small talk is important. Because I believe that small talk is the ice to a glacier. Because if you have seen a glacier before, it is humongous. But you can get ice from a glacier, and ice can fit in like a little glass. So if you think of small talk as the ice and the glacier as the relationship, the potential relationships that you want, understanding of why it's so important to start with small talk. So the first thing I say is to start with small talk is to gauge your goals. What is your goal in this social interaction? Are you looking to meet with people because you want a business connection? Are you meeting with people because you want a relationship or social, more casual connection? What are your goals? And then the second is, based on your goals, how do you feel? What is your battery saying? Because sometimes we go how we feel first before what our goals are. And then you can go into a toxic isolation cycle. Because if we are constantly thinking about what we're doing and what goals we want to accomplish, our feelings cancel that. So make sure that you have your goal and you say, my goal is to make a social connection today. And then the third thing is to be open and carry the conversation with one extra sentence. So how that looks is, if someone says, how are you? And I say, fine, thank you. You don't have a you don't have nothing to work with when someone says, hi, how are you? And I say, I'm fine. And then, so like, if me personally, if I am just like, I just really want to go home right now, I say, fine, I'm fine, thank you. And what about you? How are you today? Like, if it's a quick thing, like, I keep it short. But if I really want a positive and, hello, Lynn. If I really want a positive and lasting connection, I will say, I'm fine, how are you? And how has your day been? Or are you looking forward to the weekend? Or what are you looking to do on the weekend? Something that is an open-ended question so that you get the hook and people know that you're interested, because people love talking about themselves. Yeah, with the social media, like, people love talking about themselves. So if you start the conversation, thank you so much, Miss Lynn. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm talking about small talk and why it's so important. And when you start a conversation with the intention of building a relationship, it's great to start small. It's great to start with, how was your day today? What is your routine like today? Or what kind of breakfast food do you like? Something that is not a yes or no, something that is an open-ended question. An open-ended question is a question you can't answer with a yes or no. So if you ask those types of questions, then people would be more likely to give you more information. And then you investigate. And then how you continue the conversation is you add relevant you add some relevance to the conversation, and you also can repeat the last statement of their conversation. So that looks like, I say to someone, hey, I saw that you have a nice car. Where did you get your car from? And then they say, oh, I got my car from the dealership. The salesperson was very nice. And then you could say, well, the salesperson was very nice. And so when you ask that, they will give you more information. They'll be like, well, the salesperson didn't act like an actual salesperson. They actually act like a real person, and they sold me because they were able to get me to buy a car, and I don't usually buy a car. And then I could say, well, you don't usually buy cars? And then say, no, because I have a trusted car and I don't need to buy a car. But this particular salesperson was so interested and so down to earth that I bought a car and I drove off the lot with a new car. And that is a relationship. That's how you begin a spark. And that's how you break the ice. Because when you break the ice, you start with little chunks at a time. And then you start forming a relationship. And that's how you form a relationship. That's how you start, with small talk. So make sure, I would go with the 3 steps again. The first step is, what are your goals? What are your goals in your social interaction, either for the day or for an event that you go to? Number 2, how is your battery? Do you need to recharge your battery before you go out into a social interaction situation? Make sure that you are well equipped emotionally and mentally, because you want to make sure you give off good vibes. And number 3, Ask open-ended questions. So if you ask open-ended questions, and open-ended questions are questions that can't be answered with a yes or no. If you do that, and then I would add a 3B, when they answer the open-ended question, repeat the last 3 to 4 words in their answer. That way, there's a nice back and forth. You display that you are interested in their topic, you're interested in them, and they are more willing to give you more information. And that's all a conversation is. It's a back and forth. Like Venus and Serena hitting the tennis court. Thank you so much. I'm just thinking off the cuff, but like, I am an introvert, but I realized, like, my best friend that we have been to so many places together and we have so many stories, but the first conversation she had is she came up and sat next to me in the cafeteria. It was at work, and I like to spend all my time at the beginning of work, at breakfast, and I like to be in my focus. I want to be in myself, and that's how I get ready for my day. But she came up to my table and she said, "Well, how are you? Can I sit here?" And I was like, no. I didn't say that out loud, but I was thinking that. I was thinking oh my gosh, don't you see I'm sitting here by myself? I really just want to take some time to be by myself. But we started talking, and I don't know, it was just a really, I felt okay, she is my coworker, and we work together, so maybe it's a good idea to be friendly to someone that you spend 12 hours with at work. So I decided, okay, I will entertain this. You can sit down. And then she actually mentioned, she's like, "Oh, I know you're sitting by yourself and I'm interrupting your alone time." So she was very observant, and it made me feel better that I didn't have to. Hello, the Jewish introvert. I felt better that I didn't have to explain that was my alone time. She actually picked up on that, and we talked about it. And now that was 9 years ago, and we are still friends to this day. And we have had so many relationships, so many good times, and we've had some bad I wouldn't say bad times, we had some learning experiences. So this is how you build